Hello everyone, thank you once again for joining us. So in today's session, we'll be learning about again Git, but this time we will learn a little bit advanced, like we will understand what is the branching strategy, branching policy, and also there are other, this is more of related to your Azure Repos, okay, and the GitHub. So yesterday we have covered like related to the locally how we have to work with different command, what different situation, right? But in today's session, we'll focus on the more of Azure Repos related and the GitHub. Okay, all right. So let's get started for the first questions about the branching policies and the protection rules. Okay, that is, how do you prevent direct commit to main in Azure Repo? Reason is why do we need to prevent the direct commit to the main, right? So we need to understand one thing. As I mentioned, usually in any organizations, you will not directly commit your changes to your main branch, or directly you're not going to push the changes to the main branch. That is how it should be. The reason being why you should not be doing this so, because in the main branch, always you will have a production ready code available. That means, let's say if you modify something in your main branch, what happens? Say for example, your code is not being tested properly, your code is not functioning properly, or application, whatever code it could be infrastructure or let's say applications, or could be anything, right? If it is not functioning properly, it is not being tested properly, how can you merge them or push the code to the main branch? If you push, what happens automatically in your pipeline, right? CI/CD pipeline, they have given the trigger as main. That means, let me show you better. I will just take, okay, it's okay. I'll open one more tab. The reason why we should not be doing this, because if you go to the pipeline, right, under here, let's say I'm just taking example of this one. If you go to edit, you can ignore for now the code what is written, but let's focus on this topic here. If you see a trigger as main, normally it should be main, or it can have a multiple branch name. Let's say I can have a dev also. It depends on the situation. But let's say in our case it is a main now. Okay, trigger as main. So what it means basically, it says that whenever there is any changes in the main branch, please run your pipeline. That means in our case, it is a main, right? So automatically the pipeline is going to be triggered. So what happens next? When you run the pipeline, automatically it will be triggered. That means pipeline will start running. Then automatically your continuous integration phase will be done, and also continuous deployment also, because in the release phase also we have done the this thing, right? Automatic system in your release. So what happened automatically, your applications or whatever is there, it is going to be deployed to the respective environment. This is the reason why we don't want that to happen directly. Anybody, if they're pushing code here or maybe making some changes here in the main branch, then there is a big risk also, and nobody should normally do that. Okay. This is the reason why we should be understanding that. Now, now question is how can we prevent this one, right? Because I don't want anybody to push the code directly to the main branch, right? But instead, what I can do, instead of pushing direct code to them, what I can do, I can use something called as a branch policy in Azure DevOps. Question is why branch policy is required now, right? Because if you have a branch, because now I can mention as a under branch policy, there's something called as a require pull request approval. That means, as I told you, when you merge this thing, somebody has to approve the code. So maybe let me show you. Okay, let's say this is the code. For now, you can take example of any code. I think, yeah, I will take up this one. If you go to the clone, right, I want to just clone it locally. I want to show you first. This is a web app 100. Now I just create one folder. This is empty. Now I can just go to the terminal. Let's say somebody is doing modify. What is that? Do you want to run subvariant? Okay, I'll just ignore this one. Let's do the git clone. Then I have copy pasted. So basically I wanted to check out here to my repository. This is my repository. Now in this particular, as you can see here, main branch. Now if you click here also, apart from main branch, you do not see any other options. If it is there, you can see. But what we do now, as I told you, you can also see from here. This is from the basically Azure Repo, right? So you will see only one repository. Now, as I told you, you will not modify the code from here, this branch. Let's say you have another, you have to create new branch now. So before that, what I have to do is that I will go to this particular branch. Let me first set the branch policy. How can I set the branch policy? Go to the Azure Repo. In my case, we are inside the particular Azure Repo, and if you go to there is a concept like call a branch, sorry, branches. Click on the branches. If you have multiple branches, all the branches you can see here. Now, if you notice here, there is a something symbolic symbol will be there, the writing, right? What it says? It says that branch has a policies. Branch has policies. It means that in this particular branch right now, there is some policy or restricted. So we can see this also if you want to see details, right? So if you click automatically here, you can see here, right? You can see the required minimum number of reviewers. We can enable this also. We can see other also. Okay. So in my case, it is not there. But if you want, you can do that. But before that, let me go back. Sorry, my bad. Right. Let me go back. Now, as I told you, this is the this thing. Let me go to the branch. Now I have only one branch, right? But as I told you, normally you will not directly modify your core or you will be not changing anything in your main branch. I need to create chapter branch. Now, as I told you yesterday discussions in the first how to the pull request conflict, right? I mean PR, Git conflict related things we have discussed, right? To create the branch. Now, as I told you, this branch can be created from here also, otherwise using from locally also. So in my case, because if I create here is easy, let's not create from here. Let us create from locally. Now, let me create it locally. I'll try git. Now, if you let me check which branch I am right now. It is showing nothing because the reason why not showing because right now I'm outside of the repository. Let me switch to the repository. Git, sorry, cd change directory, and in my case, whatever the repository name. This is the repository name, right? I'm inside now. Now, if I type the git branch, now I can see the main. So apart from mains, if I, as I told you, if I want to see the remote, I mean everything, all branch, I can see a dash a, right, to see every single branch. Now if I type here, what I see, I can see only two. One, this is a remote. There's nothing. This is only one we can see, right? Now what I want is that I want to create a new branch here, and then I want to pull request here. As I told you, normally you have to have in the main branch, according to the questions, what I need to do, I need to use this one, right? Pull request, I need to enable. So how I can enable? Let me show you. Let me go here in the branch. There is a three dot, right? Click in three dot. Here also you can go. There is, if you see here, branch policy, click there. If you click the branch policy, automatically you can see. Now it is asking required a minimum or number of reviewers. This thing. That means definitely before this thing, somebody has to review your code, right, in order to merge your code to your main branch, right? This is the reason here. If somebody is not working, they have to review the code first. Then I select here. Then also there is other options. If you can see here, I can just have a look once. Allow requester to approve their own changes. So let's say if I'm the requester, normally I should not be approving my own code because I'm the person who's modifying, right? So I know what it is, but then it is not a good practice to review your code by your own, right? Somebody has to review your code, not you. So in this case, if you at all require, based on the again situations, if you want your code to be reviewed by yourself, then you can enable this also. Okay. There is other option also. When new changes are pushed, there are also that somebody can need to review. So there is so many options. And here you can say check for the link work items, right? If by default it is required. Okay. So you can maybe check this one based on that. If you see here, this policy inherit setting from here. some policy are from if you click here, this particular check link work item in the sense for every single task there will be a work item created for you, so based on your task. So it is showing that this policy inherits settings from one other one run. If you see here, this is coming from all the default one. That means now this is coming from the default. Now if you go here, there is an option, right? And the same repository, this is all default by default. So it is telling that check for this thing. If you enable disable, you can disable that one. Question is, what is this first? Let us understand this also, right? This nothing but, let me open one more tab also, so that let me go to the same thing organizations. If I go to the same projects, under same project there is a, if you remember that day we tried repo, right? Here we create different work item, right? Let's say in my case we created a user story. Under user story definitely we'll have, first we'll have a epic, then we have a features. Under features we'll have a user story. Under this only we'll have a task creator, right? So let's say now I have created a task. Now this is a task, right? You can see the symbol also. Now this task, now what is the task related? This is monitoring user login related. Now if you open this thing, if you see here, there is a task ID created, and if you see these are link, you have to link normally from different, you have to link. Now if you see here, there is a parent. Who's a parent? This is a parents. Now example, I'm just giving example. Okay, this is a parents. As I told you, it has to, this task should be uh, under your user story. That means in one user story can have a multiple tasks. In my case, okay, now if I go to here, now if I so close, I can change to let's say active. Now let me shape. Now it is active. Now in the task also, let's say I have not selected. Let's say it is given to me. Now I have assigned this task. I need to do it now, right? Now if I save this one, what happens now? As I told you, this is a task ID is getting created. Now what you basically need is this particular task. You can copy ID or whatever name, or you can copy the name, whatever is there. This particular who is responsible? It is responsible. I am responsible for this task to complete, right? So whenever you create new brands, right, you have to basically, even this thing you is saying that it has to basically, your work item should be linked so that they know what kind of task you are working for particular features. This is the reason why it is asking here. Okay, let's go back first. Okay, so in my case, as I told you, I'll go to the brands. I'll go to the then next here. So in my case, as I told you, I will click here, brands policy. This is why it is showing this one. I will show you how to enable this thing. As I told you, this check work item, it is coming from the directly from the, if you see here, encourage traceability by checking for link work item on pull request. During the pull request, there has to be your work item should be done, because pull request is something that you have work your things, right? You just need to basically uh, what is it, merge with the specific branch, right? So that it can, pipeline can get triggered and run the pipeline. So that time, but they have to know also what is the task that you're working on, right? This is the reason why it is enabled. But as I told you, this is right now not enabled. You can enable from your right, already it is enabled. That is from the default policy. This is why it is coming.
Hello. There is like disturbance
Sorry.
from.
Okay. Is it for everyone? Okay, let me know. Okay, great. No problem. Thanks. Let me know if there's anything. Okay. Now, as I told you, so let us go with the first question. I mean, first thing. So as I told you, this one right now, I will go back so that you will have a proper understanding. Now, if you see here, where is the branch? This is the branch, right? Now you can see the logo before there is a symbol. It is gone because I have disabled it. Okay. If you want to, there is a symbol, right? Group of policy. Now, if I go here again, I can enable it. Okay. Now, as I told you, I have, now if I enable it now, for example, if you want this to also, you can enable it. Now, that means whenever you do a pull request, or maybe whenever you do a pull request time, there should be let me in my case I'll give a one. Actually, let me two. I'll give a two. That means two persons should review my code as well as whatever task that you're working. It has to be linked in your when you raise the PR. These two is compulsion. And also, if you want, there is also a limit marks type. There is a different marks type also. If you want this to be enabled, as I told you already, there is a basic. Normally, we don't use that. All the history will be this thing as it if you see here preserves history exactly as it happened during the development. So that means whatever you have the history, those will be updated here as well. And we have a rebase and fast forward here creates a liner history by replacing the source branch commit onto the target with our marks commit. Okay, that you may still confuse this one. I will have a topic for this one. I will explain. So what basically it basically reapplies the changes on top of the existing uh, particular branch. That is a let's say from uh, feature main, it has to be in the dev main branch, right? Like that. I will show you that also. And we have a squash. Reverse is similar to ways here. Again here Mars. Here we can see a squash creates a liner history by considering the source branch commits into single new commit on target branch. That means now say you have a 10 commit in your feature branch, you want to merge or while doing the pull request, if you select this as a merge type, what happens? All 10 commits will be basically combined as one and created with the new commit ID as one commit ID, not 10. So all 10 commit ID, the previous what you had, will be not shown in your history. Okay. Okay. Now in my case, let me select this one first. I'll go back now. Now if I go back again, now if you see here the symbol scheme. Now that means according to this policy, somebody has to I mean whenever you want to merge with main branch, somebody has to what? They have to do a pull request and also work item should be linked. So this is what we are going to do it now. Now, as I told you, I don't have any branch right now. I have only main branch. This is default one. Let me create based on this main branch, different branch. So as I told you, you can create using GUI from here also directly. Let's say if you click here, you can select. There is an option, right? You can select work item. You can select from here work item. Okay, work item you can select here. Link work item, but you can give a name of the particular. If you're doing from GUI, you have option to select the work item. But if you're doing from the GUI, I mean, what is a CLI, you don't have option to link directly while creation of the branch. But then yes, you can do it later. So I will do it later, no issue. For now, I'll just create the branch. So how we have to do it? Git checkout dash v, right? V is in the branch. In my case, I simply mention. Let's say I create a branch call as something I'll give. Let's say depth. Otherwise, one thing I will create one more branch so that we can actually relate. Normally, we should not be creating the branch directly here, right? So normally, if you say in the real time, main branch normally will not be doing. We will do another methods. We'll create different branch called a dev. Dev branch is based on the main branch. I don't have any work item, so I'll create that. Means now, okay. Now this dev branch is created. Now I don't have any policy here. Let me apply policy over here. Branch policy. Go here. Sorry, my bad. There is a branch policy. I will select as a require. This time two. I will mention this also. This two I'll do it for now. Okay. So that's it. I'm good for now. That means now, if you go back to the particular this thing also, branch, I mean not branch, yeah, branch only, you will see the this icon, right? Now you can see the icon. Now this is the normally should be. So as I told you, I'll not be touching here. Let's focus in the dev branch. Dev branch, you have almost code is ready, it is tested. But now based on what dev branch, I want to create new branch, feature branch. So there is a requirement. What is the task? Let's say in my case, there is a task requirement for this particular where I need to work with was this one. This particular, let's say I'm just giving an example, whatever it is, you can just, that means I'll be working on the monitoring user login. That means this is a task, right? So for this one, or you can call as this thing, you can create a task. It is created already in the Azure dashboard. Now I need to create the branch based on this requirement. So as I told you, I can mention as monitoring or whatever they can mention. Let me go here, git checkout. I can mention that. Sorry. Now what I can do before that, you have to see which branch. If I want to create a new branch based on the dev branch means I have to switch to the dev branch first. In my case, I'm in the main branch, so I'm in the wrong place. Okay. I should be switching to the dev branch. But let us see one thing. If I see the git branch, I do not see the main branch because the main branch was just created just now, right? We created just now, sorry, dev branch, but it is not available. So what we can do, I can do two commands. I can use a fetch or I can directly use the pull also, git pull, because I'm in this thing, right? I'm in the origin. So let me git pull directly if I do. If you see, as soon as I do a git pull, new branch, this is a dev, it is already up to date. That means, as I told you, I have pulled from the remote. Now, if I try again git branch, now sorry, git branch all. Now I will see two branch, right? This is a local. This is basically dev and main we have, right? Origin remote. Now, if you want to see only the remote instead of this thing also, I can just use the R. R is nothing but it is a remote. Now, if you can see, the main was not showing, as I told you, main is only locally. By default, it will be there. But this time, using the R is nothing but remote. I can see only the remote part branch. Now, let's focus to the this thing topic. So, as I told you, based on a task, I need to create new branch. So, how can I create? I'm in the now. If I can check now, git branch. I want to see which where I'm starting. I'm in the main. Let me switch to the dev branch now. Git checkout, git checkout, dev, right? That means I want to first check out to dev branch. Now, if you see here, I have switched it. You can see here also, or still if you want to type on C also, you can see also. Now you are in the dev branch because it is showing the green color with the asterisk. So you are standing in the dev branch. Now, as I told you, I need to create a feature branch based on the main branch, dev branch, right? This is why I'm switching now to dev branch. I should not be creating directly branch from the random branch. So whenever you want to create a branch, you have to go to the source branch first. In my case, as I told you, this is my source branch. Based on this dev branch only, I'm going to create a new feature branch for this particular task. Okay. So this is why I have switched it now. I have switched it now. Now only I can run the git commands to create it. Git checkout dash b. What is in my case, I can give something like this. Try to follow this standard, this naming standard features. Then as I told you, this is for monitoring. I can just type a monitoring. This is basically a branch name. Okay, altogether slash, sorry, feature slash monitoring is your branch name. So now that means what happened now, I have created this branch, that is a feature slash monitoring, and I have checked out also in the same branch. Now if you see here also, you can see here, right? Okay, now is the task that I have to work with. Now, as I told you, I need to work with what? Some tasks, right? This particular. So let's say something I'm modifying. I don't have any particular task to do now, but I'm just giving some simple example. Now, if I go to, let's say, under manifest, let's say, under web manifest, and service.yml, let's say I will try to modify something because I just want to see the changes in the code, right? That's it. Nothing much I'm going to do it. So I'm saying this is from feature slash monitoring, right? Monitoring terms. So that I will know that means, as I told you, I'm standing here. I am, let's say I have this is, let's say this is your application code. You have modified everything. This is the actually in the real environment, it is working like this team. The way I'm showing here, exactly 100% same way you will be working. You will not directly make changes from the main branch or pull tag from the main branch. You always need to tag from the dev branch, or you have a feature branch, depends on the name they used it, but not directly from the main branch always. Okay. So what I did was I created this branch. Now I have modified something. Now if I type the git checkout, sorry, status is wrong. Now I can see one sentence, right? This is there in this particular branch. Now I need to commit this one, right? I need to commit it. Now in that, as I told you yesterday also, I have committed. I have told you there are two commands I can. One is a git add dash Otherwise, I can just mention the file name. Otherwise, I can use like this, or I can also use a git commit. I mean together, right? Git add, and I can get a git commit. If you remember, first what we normally do, we can use first this command. Second, only we can run this command or git commit command. But instead of this one, what normally we do is that we first run these commands. Second, we run this git commit. Then we give a dash m and then message name, whatever something, right? Let's say this is how normally we will be using, right? So first we will run this command, then only we'll run this one. But if you remember, yesterday I have already discussed it, right? So instead of running this command, I can remove this one. I don't need to define this one. I can remove this one, because this is what is the purpose of using this one. Using the git dash, sorry, git add space dot. It is basically mean that you are from the whatever with the working that you have, you want to basically send, I mean basically stage this one to the staging environment, right? This is the reason why we are using it. But in the same situation, even if I don't use also, that's okay. I can use another way. What I can do is, instead of this one, I can remove this one. Let me first show you, so that if I show you if I show you first, as I told you, by running this git commit, you can see, right, it is in red color. That means you are in your working directory. So as I told you, instead of using the git add, I will directly use a git commit dash am. Instead of just m, this time I'm using am and commit name. In my case, I mentioned changes change in service. Normally, the name also you need to give according to the changes that you are making, depending on the topic. Okay, service.yml, whatever name you can give. Just for example, I'm just giving you yml. Okay, that means now if you remember here, I did not add the add, right, automatically. Now if I type here, now if I type the again once again status, what it says now, git commit on the branch, nothing. Now if I, as I told you, this is basically changing the staging area. Now this is basically, we have not modified anything. I mean, we have just modified the code, right? So now we are changing now. Now what we can do next, as I told you, I need to post it, right? How can I post it? How can I post the changes now? As I told you, this is new branch. I cannot directly post the changes like that. Let me post it. But before post it, according to the last time question also, you can also do one thing. Let's say somebody modified a core from the now dev branch. I'm just giving the situation in the real time. Now say for example, somebody is modified here in the dev branch. Let's say this particular, maybe somewhere he modified, not in the same line, but something else. Let's say in the page, right? In the page, let's say, I'm just give index dot here. Let's say he modified something here. Let's say this is out of the not by you, but some other person. Let's say this is from dev branch. Normally this is the silence will happen because you not work in one particular branch. You will not only working one particular person. There will be multiple people will be working here and there. So you always need to get a latest code. Let me cover this thing. I'm committing here. That means changes is that. Now what is saying? Is saying that directly, as I told you, I have given the push to the branch are not committed. As I told you, you cannot do that because there is a branch policy created. That's interesting. Okay. So what I do for now, I will try to maybe disable this branch first, so that I just wanted to show you that is the reason. So if I go here, go to dev branch, right? For now, I will just disable the branch policy. Work item also. Work item, let it be. You may still ask, but anyway, that's okay. We'll just go with this thing. Now, if you go, let's say, okay, I will change something here only instead of going all the way. Let me change here only. On the branch. Okay, still it is showing. The reason why it is showing, because there is a policy. So if you have one policy also, that we need to understand. If you have one policy also, we need to enable it. This is why we need to understand the group policy part. That means, as I told you, there is another policy we have, right? That is work item related. This is the reason why we have. If you have one policy also, this will happen. Otherwise, if you have this particular policy is inheritance from the another on top branch, top what is this thing, even that time also it should affect it. Okay, okay, then let's not do it then. You understood, right? If you want to do it also, you can do it. But in this case, as I told you, there is a policy, right? Where I can go here and disable it. Now let me just check once again. If I go back to the here, let me disable. No, I don't have anything. But let's see, still it will be coming from the top level or not. Okay, let me go back. Let me try to modify now once again. Yep, runs. Okay, yeah, it's okay, because as I told you, branch policy we have given, you know, right now. So if you have a one branch policy also created, I mean, is associated to your branch, then you cannot commit directly code to your main branch. I mean, specific respective branch. Whichever branch you have a policy, on that you cannot have it. Now, as I told you, this particular core is committed where? In the dev branch. Let's say this is done by some other person, but now you are working where? Feature branch. But this feature branch is coming from where? Dev branch only, right? That means now your dev branch code should be, it is not up to date, because the code what you were working is let old code, that because I have modified something in the solution file, right? Right now, if you go to solution file, you will not see this is there in solution file. But if you see here, we do not see the changes here, right? This is the only we can see. How can I bring the changes now, right? This is the problem would come. Normally you should be very carefully check it. So in this case, if you want to bring the changes, as I told you yesterday, there are two ways I can do using the git pull, otherwise switching to the branch, right? So first what I'll do, as I told you, I have already committed this, done, I have done it. Now I can use a git. First I want to bring the changes also from the dev branch, from the remote, right? Now git pull, because I have committed locally, git pull origin dev. That means I'm saying please pull the changes that is the origin called dev by standing your in your branch, that is your feature branch. That means I'm trying to say that remotely whatever somebody might have modified a code here, those changes also I want to bring it to my Terraform, sorry, in my local code, so that I can merge them, right? So if I do this thing, now you see here, can you see changes? As soon as I do, now automatically you get a message. Now what it says now, if I use the, where is that, here on this particular there is a Mars, right? Mars branch that particular this thing into monitoring. What it means basically, that means now you are saying that the changes that you're going to make, or maybe these whatever changes happen in your dev branch, right? This is the changes be made, right, from dev branch, I mean here. So in your solution file, under your solution file, so these changes also now automatically using with the help of git pull of origin particular branch name by setting to your respective branch. Now it is showing, now it is going to be Mars branch, that is a dev branch of particular this thing into what particular your feature. That means this particular changes is going to be merged into your feature branch. This is why saying please enter the commit message to explain why this message is necessary. Now in this case, as I told you, it is optional. Now if you want this particular, you can give, or you can give as a normal, I mean default. Okay. Now if you want to change this name basically, I can change this name also. Instead of this one, I can change anything. Let's say if I want to get, let's say like this, I can, if you want, you can. Now if I just enter, automatically you can see here. So you can see here, right? This time you can see what a message name you can give it. In my case, as I told you, you just need to use this thing. It is a insert mode actually. You have, this is again bash one. You can use a editor also, git editor. Okay, it's a bash one. So in my case, I don't want to change any commit message or message name. I want to keep as it is. So I'll just escape button Q W right quit execute, right. Now done. Now as soon as I click, that means I have changed the whatever commit ID or maybe while doing the pull request, right. There is changes. If you see here, Mars met by this particular solution file, right. This is what we have modified it, right, locally, I mean remotely. So this is the one file change. Okay, now it is showing now. That means now if you go to the same thing in the same this thing only, now this is why I can see the changes now, right. This is how normally you will be working in the real time. You will not directly push the changes to the your branch. First you have to get a latest score from the respective branch. In my case it is a source branch from the dev branch, right, because this branch was created from dev branch. This is the reason why I given as a while pulling dev, this one, right. I use a dev branch. If you're creating from the other branch, same thing, you have to give a particular branch name. All right, so I hope this is clear, right. Now you understand. That means now I have merged the changes from the remote as well as local. Now I can directly, what I can do, I can simply push it, git push. That means I want to make changes, right. I want to push the changes again to where, remotely. But this time where I am going to push, I'm going to push the changes to the this branch, that is a this branch, what is it called, feature slash monitoring. But if you go to the here, I don't have the branch called the feature slash. I can only see the main and the dev. I don't have this one. So how can I push this thing? If I push now, it will fail now. Yes, it will fail. Now what it says now, to post the current changes or set the remote as upstream, use this one. As I told you yesterday, if you want to manage your branch or from your local to the remote, let's say if you created newly, users need to use the dash u, right. So let us do that. So while pushing it, I can use a dash u and origin. In my case, name of the branch. In my case, as I told you, what is the name of the branch? I have to copy paste it or I can type it. So if you know the branch, you can type or you can just copy paste it also. It's okay. Anything is okay. Okay, I can just copy paste it. I mean typed it because I know the branch name also. It's easy for me. Monitoring. That means now this particular changes now, whatever I have the local list branch is going to be published or pushed to your remote branch. This is the reason why I have to use a dash u, so that Git would know that to track next time. They can easily track next time. You don't have to do again and again. You can simply use the git push command. You don't have to define all this origin and all. This is only one time when you create for the first time new branch. So let's go. Now it is pushed. Okay, this is the flow. It should be done. Now that means I have done it. But if I go to the here now, as I told you, the changes whatever you made is not defined. It is not in a dev branch, right? So if you see new changes, but we need to know where we are. Now if you go here, monitoring, this is the changes we have made right here. Also the changes that we had from the dev branch. If you see here, this is from dev branch, right? It is came because while doing the pull request in the locally, we have got these changes, right? This is from the monitoring branch. Now same thing if you go with the changes that we make under manifest, there is a service, right? Here we made some changes, right? This is from the future listing. That means now you have seen the changes from the both branch. One is of the branch, the latest code, along with your local code that you have modified it. So those two changes you can see in one while pushing to the remote. Now what is the next now? Now as I told you, but now these changes whatever you have got the changes. If you remember, you have got the changes from the dev branch into your monitoring. But if you go to the again service.yaml, this changes is not updated in your dev branch. Dev branch is origin branch, right? This is not there. If you want, you can see here. If you go dev branch, right? This is dev branch. If you go service, see, you don't have that under service.yaml. I don't have this one because as I told you, we will be modified only in the feature branch only, right? So now how can I make the changes or bring the changes here? This is the reason why they're asking it has to be done through the pull request. So if you remember, what we did was in the pull request, by we have done some changes, right? Let us go back to the branch policy again. This time there is no any branch policy updated. I mean enable. Let me enable the branch policy. Normally it should be enabled by default. I'm just that time it was not this thing. That's why I was showing you. Again, I'm going to enable the branch policy now. Let's say I want this particular to be reviewed and I want this to be checked. That's it. Done. Your work is done. Now I go back to the repository. Now, as I told you, if I go to the under branch, now you can see the symbol also for the this branch also. So till now it's good, right? Now let us see the process how we can make changes, or maybe from the feature branch to their branch. How can we bring the changes now? What is the best way? As I told you, according to this policy, their branch policy, it says that what it says, it is saying that it has to be done using pull request or number of review, and also somebody has to associate a like your what is your work item, right? So this is what I'm going to do now. So as I told you, I'm here right now. Let me switch back to my feature branch. As I told you, this is the branch that we want to. Now there is a pull request you can do from here. Otherwise, come to the same repository. There is a pull request option. Click here. As you click here for the first time, if it is not there existing pull request, then you have to do pull request. Now, if I click new pull request from here, either I can click from here, in either one is okay. Now I can give a name of this one. In my case, I can give this is a monitoring related, right? I can simply type while doing the pull request time, monitoring. Any name you can give it your wish, right? Or if you want, as I told you, you can give any name. So I'm just keeping things simple. I'm just giving name as a monitoring. That's just title name. This is for the pull request, so that they know what is the purpose of this one. Second thing, if you want to give some discussion, you can give. Here is the thing. Now, if you see here, option pull request, right? There is an option work item. Work item is there. This is the option. While doing the pull request, also I can do. In my case, if you know the pull request, so if I type here just monitoring or just copy paste it, if you know the full name, if you type here like this, there is an option, right? Task number 14, monitoring user login. If you see here, same thing is what it is showing, right? Or this is the task number. For each task, there is a unique ID also. So that they can track it. Okay. Now this is how it should be done. Now I have tracked it. Now while doing this thing, now there is an option also reviewers. Reviewers means there is a two type of reviewer. One is if you click here, let me show you. Okay, here you can see, right? Optional reviewers and a require reviewer. That means optional mean if you want somebody as an optional, whether if he is not he does not approve also, that's okay. In this case, you can give as an optional. If you want somebody must review means for let's say your manager or maybe your anybody right in your team who was senior, so you can give as a do that name. So in my case, let's say I am the this thing I can give my name, but technically I'm the using with the same ID, right? I should not be using it. I should not be assigned to myself. It has to go to somebody else. Okay. Let's say it should go to money. So now this thing. So uh, now I can give an optional as my name, let's say, or maybe some other name. That means if this particular person doesn't approve also, no problem. Now here is the thing. Now as I told you, you can see, right? It has to be, I have linked it now. As soon as I link it, now it has to be not main, right? It has to be dev branch because we want to march to the dev branch changes. From the monitoring to the dev branch, we want to bring the changes. Now, as I told you, now you have done now, somebody has to approve this one. But again, as I told you, while merging itself, I mean, pull request, now you can see the changes also. Like from that, what changes we have made. If you remember, there are two changes we made, right? One is using the from dev branch, second is your from the feature branch. But here, if you see here, the changes only can see from the um, monitoring branch. Of course, it will be monitoring branch because from the dev branch was already updated. It is there in the dev branch already code, right? So nothing changes there because same code changes available in the what I call feature branch as well. So this is why it will not shown here. But only the changes you are making the difference between the dev and here, those changes you can see here. So this is the changes I can see now. Now There is an option also. You can normally see like, normally it should be seen like this. Now, if you have a two branch, if you see here, this is basically a old code. This is the latest code. That means whenever you are pulling the changes, sorry, whenever you are working with the creating the monitoring branch from the dev branch, right? That time, then now they will compare it. This is the old changes that was available in the dev branch, and this is the new changes that is available in the monitoring branch, because they will compare between these two brands. What is the changes? So that means when they compare, only these changes that they are able to see in your monitoring branch. This is why I can see this is, that means this is the latest one. This is the old one. Okay, that means I can see like this also. If you don't want like this option, you can also inline. But this doesn't look good also. As I told you, in your real time, you normally be preferred to use side by side so that you can compare it, right? Code changes. Okay, so this is how it do. Now this is done. In my case, what I'll do, because I don't want money to approve it, I don't want to give a required approve for now, because he has to approve otherwise. For now, I'll just create it. I'll just give this also as optional. Otherwise, I'll give my name only, because I don't want to log into other user and I'll do that. Okay. Now, if I create the pull request, normally, if you see here, what it says now, read this message. As I told you, there is a branch policy in a dev branch, right? So whenever you want to merge from the dev branch to the future, I mean, future branch to the dev branch, according to the policy in the dev branch, they will get a message. What is the message? If you see here, required check, this is one issue. One required check fail, and the work item must be linked. Work item must be linked. So, and also at least 2 reviewers must approve. From where these are coming? These all are coming from your dev branch, right? Dev branch, because we have set a policy. This is the reason why it is coming it. Now, what we can do then? If you want this to be working, then you can mention. In my case, let's say I want to keep this term. Maybe I can set a work item. See, now notice, okay, now one issue. If I give a work item now, whatever task as I mentioned, this is the one I'm going to work. Now automatically this is gone. The issue is gone because it is meeting the branch policy. Okay, if the branch policy condition is meeting, then only your pull request will be completed. Now it is gone, past it. But then there is still two more options in here. What is saying? At least two reviewer must approve it. That's interesting, right? So this is the reason why, while doing the branch policy, I mean, in your branch policy time, you have to check how we have to define your designing, what is the complexity of your project, right? So as I told you, this is only one thing. I will just give you one in my case. Let me go to branch policy instead of two. I will give as one now, because as I told you, I'll give only one. Okay. So yeah, let's now save it for open one. Okay, it is actually one. I given one now. It was before two. Now let me just refresh it. Normally, this one you can check it. So if you see now, it is saying as at least one should approve it. Now, okay. Then what I can do is that, as I told you, I'll give a approve require. Required also I'll give as my name, because I don't have any other person to assign for now. This is the reason I'll give my. Normally, you should not be giving your name. It has to be given your manager or whoever responsible for reviewing the code. In my case, as I mentioned, is for a test, so I should be giving my name. Okay. Now, if I just now refresh the page, now it is, as I told you, somebody has to approve. Now, who can approve this one? As I told you, there is a option. There is an option, right? Auto complete. Auto complete also. All meetings set auto complete. Set auto complete also. There's a questions. I will discuss this also later. We can enable this. We can set as auto complete also. If all okay, that means if everything is meeting the requirement according to the policy, if everything is meeting it, then you can do set auto complete like this. You can just click here. Okay, so I will take screenshot this one because I will have to explain again. I don't want to do it again and again. I'll take a screenshot of this one. Right. Now just remember, this is the how it should auto set auto complete. Okay. So okay, fine. Now, as I told you, somebody need to approve. Who can approve this one? It has to be approved by me, right? So now I can, there is an option, approve it. By approving, let me refresh it. Okay. So there is also option called complete, right? And if you see here, more option we have, if you want to set up your pull request, you can share it, or you can do a cherry pick. I will explain later, but later on, or this particular this thing. Let's go with, if you want to set somebody, you can share it over mail or anything. Otherwise, what I can do, as I told you, you can copy this link. Otherwise, you can copy this link, you can share it like this. You can share somebody in the what whichever teams using like this, then they can click this link and then they can see this page and they can approve it. But as I told you, uh, I will just approve it. Set auto approval do if all meeting. If you see here, there is an option, right? This is what I was saying it. While doing this thing, there is a squash commit. Okay, let's not focus about this one. Let's understand still this part. So as I told you, I will approve this one. But as I told you, this I'm not able to approve it as my code. This is my own code. I will accept. I will disable for now. So I hope you understand, right? Somebody need to approve this one, right? Work item, let it be. Now, if I go back to here, sorry, here again. Now, if I go back here, now it is gone. Because as I told you, I have removed, I don't want to approve by my own. It is optional, I have done it, things. So I should be giving here also, if you want to do like this thing. As I told you, it is approved, but then automatically there is an option right before it is gone. Now if you see here, the automatic option is got this one, right? Which one? This one. This one is gone now because it is meeting the requirements. Automatic this thing. Now what I can do, once you, let's say now, what as a code reviewer, I will check all the code. If all code is good, I can give it. Let's say if there is any issue in the code, what I can do, maybe you can see the mark as review. You can make as a mark as review also if you want all everything is okay, right? You can also see the commit ID. What is the commit ID, from where it is coming, changes you can see here from here also, and also you can see here also, okay, updates related on what files you can click here. So you will normally be doing, you will be doing here to here. This one I will check it, who's the everything. If all okay, as I told you, this is link. Let me go with the file. I am good with the file also. Then I can simply click in the complete. In a complete, this time I have to click the complete. Approve is done already because as I told you, approve is done. I can simply complete. Complete time. Now what happened automatically, once you're done with this particular this thing, smart type as a squash. As I told you, there is different type. Let me take the squash. So whatever commit ID, it will be overwritten now. Now there is option, you can see associate complete associated work item after merging. So if you want that to be enabled, you can enable, or if you want to delete the existing branch, that is the feature branch, right? This branch after merging, if you want that to be deleted, you can do so. And if you want to basically customize the name for this thing, you can do that. But let's not do anything. I'll keep as it is. Now let's just see. I will be using this thing squash. The reason why squash I'm using is, instead of having the multiple commit ID or multiple history, I can simply have it will all combine into one with a new commit ID. That means if I have a, let me just show you. If I have a two commit ID, if you see here, the two commit ID I have, right? Now instead of this one, I will have only, I will combine all these two commit ID into one with a new commit ID. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let's come here. Let me select a complete. As I told you, I will select, I will not, I can do this also. Otherwise, I can ignore it. Depends on your required request things. Normally, you can keep for 1 or 2 days. If at all needed, you can check later. Otherwise, you can delete it during the pull request. So in my case, as I told you, I'm going to select the squash commit. I'm going to maybe delete it. Okay, I'll not delete it for now. Let's just think. they're saying, but deleting the branch when squash is recommended. But you, as I mentioned, depends on your requirement or your things. You can do that. I will not do in our case, but let's see what happens next. Okay, once I complete, you can see that automatically there is a green color. It is completed. So you're now you can delete. You can also delete the branch after this also. You can do it, but otherwise you can go manually and do it. How we can do manually also I'll show you just to give you idea. Now if you go to the branch again, same branch, so go to the, if you want to do it manually, go branch, whichever branch you want. In this particular branch you go, then go here, there is an option to delete the branch. Okay, you can do so. All right, now let's come back here. As I told you, it is completed now, but it is completed, but in my case, uh, now there is a, this is the default, right? Now if you want to, as I told you, if you want to delete the branch, you can see here. Now there is an option. As soon as completed, there is an option, right? One is a reward. Reward basically, as I told you, if you want to reward the last changes, right? I'll take this also as a screenshot, as I mentioned. So this all we will be needing it when we discuss. We don't want to do it again. I don't want to show you everything again and again, but yeah. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, we have understood this one. Now what happened now, as I told you, there is an option called cherry pick. I will take screenshot for this also, because we will have to explain there is another topic similar way instead of doing 1 second, right? Now as I told you, you can have a reward in the sense nothing but if you want this particular changes, let's say you have merged it to the dev branch for any reason, there is a maybe let's say some issues there in a core or anything, you can reward using the reward command. Okay, otherwise if you want to do cherry pick, what happened basically, did the last commit basically, if you see Mars PR number with the monitoring. Okay, this is the last commit. Now with this different ID. Now, if you want to cherry pick the same changes, right now, as I mentioned, this was basically Mars to your main branch, sorry, dev branch. But I need to, let's say same changes, I want to bring it to the main branch. Then I can use this cherry pick because this is the latest one, right? I can simply use a cherry pick. If I use a cherry pick, now it is asking cherry pick pull request number, this one, this is a pull request number 12, and use this git cherry pick operation to apply changes to another branch. A new topic branch will be created with this applied changes, and then you will be prompted to create a pull request on the target machine. Then why I need to use this one, because if you want maybe same changes to be applied to the respective maybe branch, that you can do it. In my case, you can give it any name, you can give it whatever topic. This is just topic name required, right? So you can give any name you want, or you can mention as a git single. Okay, now if I give here, what happens, let me show you. Now see, now it is going to be created based on the existing the changes from the dev branch. In my case, this is the name. Now this time I will have to do a main branch, because as I told you, dev branch is already up to date, because I am from the monitoring branch to the dev branch, I have merged it. It is working fine. Let's say I want to same thing replicate to the main branch, then I will select the this one main branch. Now I can give anything, let's say from dev branch, any name, like this is just a thing, you can give any name you wish to. Okay, now as I told you, now you can see the changes also here before this thing also. Now whatever changes, now you can see the two changes, right? Because as I told you, two changes how will come, this is from the monitoring, this is from the dev branch. So these two changes need to be bring to the Terraform, I mean main branch. This is why it is showing now two changes. Sorry, my bad. Okay, this is what I can see, two changes. Now I can see the this thing changes, right? Monitoring related, this is all PR. If you remember that time, there is a something called, this is the default one, right? This is default. There is a we have it monitoring, the commit ID what we had before was not there. Now if you see here, because if you remember, we created a commit ID, right? Different commit ID. This is not there now. Only the merge commit ID with the merge commit ID is I'm getting able to see. right? I'm able to see the merge commit ID, not the old history, what was updated before. It is not there. Only the new merge commit ID. It is going to be created new one. What changes, whatever is there, I'm able to see here. Okay, then I'm good here, main run. Then, uh, okay. Now you can see created successfully to new branch. Okay. Now once you're done, as I told you, you can check this thing. You can check it. Now if you go back to the your branch, maybe let me open your tab. Branch. I'll say main. This is a main branch, right? This is a main branch. As I told you, this is basically the old one. Now cherry pick by doing this thing. You can do this thing, right? Cherry pick successfully created. Now, as I told you, then based on that, you have to create this thing. Now, as I told you, somebody, if you want same option, just like before, but this time it is just going to override your existing this thing into the new one instead of entire history. So you can, same concept, you can, somebody has to approve it, right? I'll require approval, I'll give. This time also, if I don't give, let's see what happens. Now it is all okay. This is okay. Requires success. This is okay, but there are two required because again, as I told you, I have given two ID. So what I'll do, I will maybe change policy instead of two. I'll make it as one, right? So if I go to the main, let me go to the main. Under main, we have this in. Go to branch policy. Let me select this time. This is for the main branch, right? I'll let me select as one instead of two. Well, this one is okay. Okay. All right, so let me go back now. Let me go back and then refresh it. Let me refresh this also. Okay, let me refresh. Now it is showing only Hriyen must approve it. As I told you, only one is given. Now I will give as this thing. Okay, this time also we can see. Now I can, as I told you, I will set as this set auto complete. Now you can mention as this thing. This time I need to approve it, so I will just approve delete also this particular this thing. Okay, monitoring this particular I will be deleting this time. Now if you see here, auto complete Hriyen Tripura set pull request automatically complete when requirements are met. That means if all requirements are meeting, then it has to automatically basically complete it. So in my case, as I told you, this is pending. So because I need to select here, there is a where is that? Approve it. Maybe where is my name? Okay, it is approved, right? Yeah. So I can simply click here. This time I can, as I told you, one reviewer. Okay, whose name I given? Let me check. It is require one approver. Require, okay, maybe optional I'll give for now. Okay, it is approved. This is optional I given. Let's just refresh it. It is optional author. Okay, it is saying besides the author must approve. Okay, then for now, as I told you, I want to just ignore this one then because I don't want to go and do all this. So let me disable the policy now because I have to log in otherwise. Where is that? Branch policy. Main, right? Under main policy, I will disable for now. I'll just keep this one as suggestion. So I hope you understand the concept now, right? So now if I go back again, now if I refresh it, now it is meeting the requirements because as I told you, this all requirements meeting. Now I can simply go here. If you want to shade the PR, you can shade the PR. Otherwise, you can approve it. You can approve from here or whatever way you can do. Let me just refresh the page. I will cancel for now because I don't need for now. Complete it. In my case, as I told you, I'll complete it to my main branch. Now, as soon as I complete, now you can see the again you 13. Before it was a 12 number, right? PR. Now it is a 13 PR from the dev branch. Now whatever changes happen, cherry pick. That's why you can use a cherry pick also. Now, if you go to the main branch now, As I told you, if you go to the main branch right now, if you refresh the page, now this is the where we have modify, right? These changes also you can see from dev branch. And also if you go inside, this is from the main branch, I'm saying it. If you go to the under manifest something, right, we modified here, I can see this also from the dev branch, feature branch. So that is how normally you should be working. You should not be doing the different way. This is the exactly how you're going to be working in the real time. Okay, so I hope this is clear now. So cherry pick only, as I told you, if you want to uh, maybe commit with a specific commit ID to the, I mean, applies to the particular commit, I mean, particular branch, that time you can use this one. Okay, okay, right, fine. So I hope this is clear. We have taken too much time. Anyway, this is very important, team. You need to understand because in the real time when you work now, you should be able to understand. This is the flow we are doing now. So, all right. Almost I have given the demonstration. Now it will be easy for you to understand later. Same way, how do you enforce the code review in Azure Repos before merging? Code review means we have already done, right? This just now we have done. If you go to the branch again, right? If somebody has to this thing, let's say I want to give main, let's say main, go to the branch policy, go to the setting. Here there is an option, right? Required number of viewers. This they have to do this one. If you enable, how many person can enable? If you enable, those persons should be done. This is what it is saying. Otherwise, they cannot pull. Otherwise, they cannot this thing. Okay, you have to follow this policy. Branch policy record the minimum number. In my case, 2 or 1 depends on your case. You can define it. Next one. What happens when developer tries to push changes, I mean, directly to the protected branch in Azure Repo? That means same reason, like if you have mentioned, let's say, particular branch, you cannot do a pull request, but if you try to do, then what happens, right? That you can see. There is an option where security. If you see, there you can just take a look under specific branch. Also, you can go. There is approval also, whether you want particular who need to approve it your code. So you can define here also. This is one this thing. And also if you come to advanced, you can check this also. Allow approvers to approve their own course. As I mentioned, these also options are there. And also you can mention the time setter or everything. You can mention time. If you want to work with the branch later, you can mention the different branch who has a branch protections as well. So there are so many options are there. Okay, I just need to explore it. Then you can also mention when the pull request can be submitted. Let's say business hours, Monday to Friday. You can change the date you want, and also sorry, business hours, right? What is the time zone? What time till what time to what time you can raise the PR? Or that also we can enable it based on the business need. Okay, so yeah, there is other also, but you don't need everything it. But yeah, you need to just have a look once. Okay, let's go next. Okay, so if we say, let's say we're not able to post it, as I told you, direct push request will not be there. If you try to pull, I mean, directly push the code directly, what happens? Because it has to be I mean, through the buyer, I mean, through the pull request, right? Not directly push. So that case, you may get an issue like this. You need to permission to perform this action, blah blah. Okay, Azure Repo rejects the push with this particular. What we have to do in this case, if you want to resolve, as I told you, pull request time, we have to use the pull request or PR instead. Just now how we have done it. That way, this is how we have to do it. So directly, you cannot push the changes to the branch. It should be done through the PR. Now, coming to the branching strategy questions. These questions are very important and we need to understand basically. The question is asking what are the different Git branching strategy used in Azure DevOps and GitHub. Say for that, they can take an example in, let's say, in traditional maybe in Azure Repo related, something called, we have a branching strategy called as a trunk base. Now what is a trunk base? Developer commits directly to a main or use a short-lived feature branch. That means normally if you see here, we are created separate branch and then doing all this stuff, right? This is different like branching strategy we are using it. But there is another, as I told, trunk basement. any developer who are directly committing the changes directly to the main branch. Let's say if they are having a main branch, they'll switch to the main branch first, right? They'll switch to the main branch and they'll do those changes and commit it directly from here. But this is not a good practice. If you're having a small team members who knows it very well, this is good, but still it is not a good practice to do, and none of the company would prefer to do nowadays. Okay, they'll go with a different concept, not this one. This is trunk base. That means you're directly pushing the code to the main branch. Now, second one is a feature branching strategy. That is, each feature is developed in a separate feature slash branch. So as I told you, this is what we are doing, right? So this is what we have done it. So we have a feature called the monitoring. So monitoring we have, this is another feature or task we can call it. Based on the is feature or task, we created the new feature separate branch, and then we merge it using the pull request, right? So if somebody is asking in the interview or whatever, you can mostly focus with this one. We are using the feature branch, then mention the flow that I have shown just now. Okay. Then next is the feature flagging. Feature flagging was nothing but feature toggles are used in the code instead of the long-lived feature branch. That means if you have the particular branch itself, you have some particular features enabled, there is an option to enable or disable. So we can use this one. So this is more of things if you want to work with the application, mostly being used here. And there is just something called as a release. Release branching. A release slash anything strict branch is created for stabilizations before production deployment. So this concept was maybe not much familiar to you. Okay, so how I can give you example? Let me show you maybe. Okay, let me show you. This is, let's say, this is a branch name. Let's say this is your main, right? This is a main branch. In main branch, what we do normally, what it means basically, it has a all your code is ready, right? Production ready. Production ready code is there, right? Production ready, you can mention RE ready code. You can have a production ready code. That means your code is up to date. Now, according to the release branching strategy, what happens? There is a requirement where in particular applications need to be deployed to respective environment. Let's say it has to be deployed to the dev environment. Let's say example, just giving a okay dev environment by environment. Okay, this particular new there is a new requirement that is, let's say, simple example, I'm going to give a requirement of, let's say, this is the requirement of I need to this particular from this particular this thing, there is a requirement I will have to develop .NET application, let's say .NET app. Okay, .NET applications. But as I told you, this is everything working fine. To deploy this particular .NET applications, basically there could be a you have a requirement, right? Based on the requirement only you're going to deploy it. So once you gather all the requirements, so what do you do? From the main branch, as I told you, main branch is something, it has all your entire working code up to date, right? Code is up to date. Now, what you do as when there is a requirement of deploying the .NET application or maybe any infrastructure you need to deploy to the particular this particular environment, that is a dev environment, they want to deploy it. So what they have to do is the first thing, or maybe some particular application they want to. Let's talk about the example of this particular .NET application, right? They want to deploy to this environment, development or dev environment. Now, what this person will do, first of all, once they gather all the requirements, everything, they they will take the code from the main branch. Now, what they will do, then they will create something called a release, RELEASS, release slash. Let's say in my case, just app I'll mention just for the simplicity purpose, app. They'll create the new branch from the here. They'll take the new, basically they'll create a branch based on the main branch. They given as a branch name as this is the branch name they'll give just for the simplicity purpose. Okay, bear with me. This is the name they want, release slash app or .NET, whatever name. Now what they do, Based on this, what they will do now, as I told you, they are not touching the main branch, but they're taking the original core, the up to date, the latest code. They'll be taking from the main branch, create new branch called as a release slash whatever name. Okay. Now, as I told you, this is for the requirement. What is the requirement now? Requirement is to basically deploy this one. So I need to add some of the features, right? So what developer or DevOps or whoever it is, okay, what they will do, they will create new branch called from here. They will create from here. Let's say they'll create anything like, let's say feature slash any name they can give. Let's say, um, let's say in this there are some issue. Normally in the release branch, your code will be almost working, but you will have a small issue will be there mostly. Remember this one. In your release branch, always you will have a small issue. It will not be the major issue, or you will not do the major changes in your release branch. Always remember this thing. Okay. So you will have a small changes or issue. So you'll try to fix. Let's say one of the issue is about the let's say button is not working. Let's say something is having maybe button, right? Some button is not working, like your maybe some web particular URL, something is not working properly. So what do you do based on this release branch? They create new branch called as this name. This is a branch name. Okay. They will modify same thing. Another person also from same thing. They'll also, because this has to be deployed, right? We'll take the core again from the release branch. They'll create, let's say this time, this is something called as a feature slash, let's say this is this time something about the page. This is page related issue, small issue, minor issue, right? They'll take the code now. So once this particular person individually start working there, once they're good with the code, okay, once they're good with the code, they will test the code obviously in this particular branch. Once the code's been tested, right? Once it is tested, once they build the code, once they do tested everything, if all working fine, then what they will do, they will bring these changes to the release branch. Once it is working fine, they will bring, that means they will merge to the release branch. Same thing, another person having issue with the WordPress related issue. This particular person also will fix the issue. After testing everything's good, they will be merging the changes, bring the changes to your, again where in the as I told you, again here, again what do you call, release branch. That means now whatever issue you had in this particular will be fixed by the time, right? Because you have a letter, the what is it? The code was tested, everything. That means now it is working fine. Now what they will do, if all everything's okay, they will check this if all okay. They will run the pipeline and see everything. Now let's say everything's okay now. They just now need to deploy this particular application, right? They need to deploy to where? In this particular environment. But the core is now where? The core is here now. Now this particular, they will create a new release. From here, they'll create a new release. Let's say this is called as a release one. From here, they'll take the release one. Let's say release one or anything you can give. Let's say I'm just giving an example. Release one or version one, something like that. I'm just giving a simple example. I'll have it based on that. Then I'm deploying to where? I will deploy this particular release one to my this environment development. I will deploy this one because as I told you, it is all working. I will create a release one. I'll deploy it here. Second, but now if you notice, as I told you, this release branch and the main branch codes are not synced, right? Because release branch is having the latest code for application related, that is .NET application related, whereas the main branch does not have the same thing. Some minor issues available in the main branch about related to your .NET, but it is not here in the what I said. Release branch is good, but here main branch is not good. So what do you do here? Once you have basically merge all the changes here, feature changes, right? These feature changes also, you will basically the changes as I told you will be what I said, bring to your here main branch, because these changes whatever you're doing, you will merge the same changes to your release branch as well as same changes you will be replicated to your main branch. Similar way you can also do from the what I say release whatever features branch into the here, you can merge it the small changes. This way we can do it. so that now both the this release branch as well as the main branch would have the same replicated code which is working. Okay, this is how it should be used. I hope this is clear, team. Okay, let's go with the next. So this is what it's saying. A release branch is created for stabilization before production ready deployment. As I told you, before production, they will have a release class, any name they'll create. And this is the concept that I explained. That's how you will be working on. So future, you don't have to, I don't have to explain because many time I have explained yesterday also and today also. I have shown also, right, in the real time. So you don't have to explain it again. Now, let's go with the next questions. How do you create a new feature branch from a main in repo? That is very simple, right? This we have already seen. Using this one, we can do git checkout and dash b and whatever name of the branch I can get it. Otherwise, simply you can go to the manually, or if you want, you can simply go to the manually. If you want to create from the GUI mode, go to branch. Let's say I want to create based on main, select them based on mains and give a branch name. That's it. Your work is done. If you want to select the work item, you can give while creations. That's also possible. Okay, next is how do you handle scenario where future branch has a drift so far from main? So, but we need to understand what is meant by drift. Basically, it says that basically, let's say you have a branch. This branch called, let me just switch back. Let's say I'm working in the here. Let's say I'm working in the monitoring branch now. Let's say, and you have, let's say in our case, let's talk about the dev branch because this particular changes that we have it was basically created from your dev branch only, right? So let's think in this way. Instead of the main, let's talk about the dev. Now, let's say you're doing some changes here, everything is good, but locally, remotely in the same dev branch, right? In a dev branch, somebody might have done multiple changes again and again, but your code is still there in the old code, which is not sync with the dev branch. So in this situation, what are you going to do? How are you going to get a latest code is what this question is asking about. If it's a drip mean too much changes from the main. Instead of main, let's say we are talking about a dev branch, let's say. If it is a main case, same scenario you have to give. Now, so in this case, if you talk about the rebase with the latest main changes, so we can go with this one. Git checkout, go to the branch name, we can fetch it, then we can go to rebase. Rebase, we have learned everything, right? We can do using the rebase. Otherwise, we can go with the git marks origin. But in this case, you always need to understand is that whenever you are doing this kind of rebase or this thing, always you need to switch to the respective branch, right? That means if you're working with a feature admin, you have to go to the feature branch. In my case, it is a uh, this thing, right? You have to go to the respective branch. Okay. In the sense, if you're working, if you want to bring the changes from the remote to this thing, go to the respective branch. In my case, I want to bring changes from the dev branch to here. First, go to the your branch, that is a monitoring branch. Then you run the commands. Okay, that is how we can do it. Next, how do you safely delete a Mars branch in Azure Repo? Mars we can do using the dash this thing also. Okay, from the locally means locally if you want to do, you can simply use the dash u git branch dash u, whatever branch name you have, we can create. Remotely means little difficult here, I mean different way. You have to use this command. Remote mean git push origin double dash delete then branch name. Okay. Okay, next is um pull request and a code review scenario. Now we have something called as how do you enforce peer merge policies in Azure Repos? We have already learned this, right? So as I mentioned, under policy we have a require at least one success bill before merging all our work item. This and all we can see. So if you go here, branch policy again. This is all talking about the branch policy related. Let me go one of the branch policy. If you go here, if you go this is one done, this work item is done, right? So there is an option merge also, we can enable it, depends on that. There is an option, so you can enable this one. If you enable here like that, you can enable it. Okay, This is where we can do it. Now, next, um, how do you configure autocomplete in Azure Repo pull request? As I told you, I have just shown you, no screenshot also something I think. Here, this was set autocomplete. While doing this kind of, if you want all your requirements meeting according to the policy, you will see one when you do a pull request, you can see something like this set autocomplete, and there is an option. You have to just click there, and it should be automatically complete based on the rule you have defined in your policy. That means if all the branch policies meeting the requirement or this thing, then it should be autocomplete. Okay. Next we have autocomplete is done. Okay, this one. How do you reward a merge pull request in Azure Repo? So as I told you, I have shown you also, right? There's a reward button while doing the pull request, right? I don't know if I have taken the screenshot, but yeah, here, right? There is an option when I do a pull request, right? When I do a pull request, and once I merge this thing, after merging it to the particular branch to dev branch, if let's say any issue in a dev branch means I can simply click here. There's a reward. After reward, you just click there and write the commit message name, whatever you want. That's it. Then you're good to go. Next, um, hotfix strategy. How do you create a hotfix branch in GitHub or Git Azure Repo? Question is, first of all, we need to understand what is hotfix first. Hotfix is nothing but anything that is urgent basis that work into complaint. Let's say you have a production base, you have application running. For some reason, or this thing, your application is not working at all. Now that means that is very urgency, right? So instead of following the entire the Git flow process or maybe strategy for process, what we can do, something called as a, we can have a hotfix branch we can create. Okay, we can create the hotfix branch. Based on the hotfix branch, then we have to do. But question is, how can we create normally this normally create a new branch. If you're working with the latest code, take the latest code, create new branch. Based on the new branch, create the latest code using the git check code, but that's just like a normal only. Okay, now once you're done this thing, you can apply the changes. Like we will do is everything right, apply. Once everything's fixed the issue, then we will do a git commit. Then as I mentioned, am fix production issue. Then again I will go to the git checkout. Then I can merge it. I can merge it. This time if you notice here, normally we have to do a pull request, right? This time directly the changes whatever is there, I am directly merging to the main branch and then push to the original main. That means instead of pull request, what I'm doing this time, I'm as a small request, small changes, right? So I can directly check out to the main branch and then I can merge the changes from the uh, hotfix branch and then I can push the changes to the remote. Okay. Now how do you tag a release in Azure Repo? That is very simple. I have already explained also. There are this way we can do, right? Git tag, whatever name and message name, everything. This is basically there are two way. This is called as your. There are two way, right? One is lightweight. Second is your annotate. So lightweight is very simple. Annotate is something it has a mouse like details. Tags. Say for example, I give a git tag as a. A is nothing but it is a what is it, annotations. I'm specifying the tag type basically and the name of the that one version or not version, name of the tag, and I can give a message for particular tag. So that's how I have to define. Then I can post it, git push origin particular this thing. Then if I want to check this thing, I can simply use a git tag to check the name of the tag. Now troubleshooting and advanced git commands. This is this thing normally. How do you find Git branch contains a specific commit in Azure Repo? If you want to basically find uh, particular specific commit, right? Which branch it is this thing. If you want to see, let's say you have multiple this thing, particular content you want to see, the particular commit belongs to which branch. If you want to see this thing, you can use the Git branch double dash content then commit has. Okay, that's why we can check it. Then how do you reward a single commit in Azure DevOps Git repo? that if you want to revert, as I told you, we can also do a git revert with the commit id. Then again we have to post it. Git push origin main. Origin main is always, you remember, right, to post to the remote. So that's how it should be. Now the last question is, how do you check which developer last modified a file in Azure Repos? That means if you have particular file where you want to know who modified a particular line of the code, right, in particular file, how can you check this one? That is when we can use a git blame on particular file name, so you can see the all the history. This is one way of doing it. Second way also we can do, there is an option in, if you go to extensions, right, you just need to install the extensions. You can see who modified when everything. This if you try git blame, right, blm git blame, there is basically extension, we can get it, you can see, right, you can install this extension also. There are so many, whichever one the you see you can install. In my case I have not installed it, but in my yeah, that's okay. In my project I'm using it because I want to know the changes who made what, right? So this is the reason why I can use the git blame extensions, as well as I can use the using the commands also. So now if I use this thing, now if I see here, let me go back, right, let me cancel this one, this thing. Now if I see here, let me this also. Now it is taking some, you have to close the browser first, right? Now here you can see who modified what time, everything. You can see the changes also with the name, everything, with the help of this extension also. Okay, next we have the last question, that is, how do you clean up stale brands automatically in Azure Repos? Stale means that is not being used anymore, right? For any reason it is not being used anymore. Mean if you want to remove that also, we can use the enable auto, um, like in Azure Repos, auto delete merge brands, that we have seen, right? During the pull request, there is an option to basically uh, delete the brands also during the pull request. That also we can do it. Otherwise, as I told you, you can go to the Azure Repos, brands, and the brands policy for the repository. Then you can select this thing also, pull request. Pull request means, as I told you, same concept only. When you do pull request, there is an option to delete automatically. No, we can do that. Okay, that's all for in this session, team. So I hope this is helpful for you, every one of you. So yeah, thank you so much once again for joining us.